why are we faced with so much unhealthy muscle? And maybe a piggyback with that question is, how does someone know if they have unhealthy muscle?
These are great questions. And I'm going to blow your mind for a second. I recommend in my clinic, people get a DEXA. We all recommend getting a DEXA. How are you going to know your body fat, your muscle mass, your bone density? Well, guess what? It doesn't directly measure skeletal muscle mass. And why am I telling you this? Because it does measure fat, which is important to know what your percent body fat is, because we know that there are certain risks that ride along with elevated levels of body fat. I highlight this because skeletal muscle has been ignored for a very long time. And in fact, so ignored, whether it's on purpose or we just haven't focused on it as really a focal point of medicine, that we are not measuring it directly. Okay, that's first and foremost. That everything that we have right now, it is not common practice to get a CT scan or an MRI. Both of those are prohibitive, whether obviously a CT scan for radiation reasons and an MRI is just the cost is too much. So we are talking about a tissue that we're not measuring directly. And that is one reason why it has been so underappreciated. Number one, because it's hard to talk about something you can't measure. Number two, skeletal muscle, when we think about how does skeletal muscle become unhealthy, there's two major things. And again, there's probably more, but there are only two things that we can do anything about. Number one of the things is that what 100% of people do, and that's eat. Okay, nutrition. The second biggest lever to improve muscle health is exercise. 50% of Americans are not exercising. 24% of Americans are even meeting the recommendations, which means almost, like roughly 75% of people are not meeting the recommendations for exercise, which, by the way, those recommendations are totally abysmal.